Hello and welcome to Business Matters. I'm Rahul Tandon. How are you? I'll be joined throughout the programme by two guests on opposite sides of the Pacific. We have Andy Shea, who's an independent economist in Shanghai. Andy, I know it's good morning to you. And also with us is Laurie Ann LaRocco from CNBC. And we have a lot to discuss over the next hour or so. And we're going to stay in the United States to start the program because New York State Attorney General has taken aim at the National Rifle Association after finding evidence that the gun rights group is riddled, according to her, with fraud and abuse. Letitia James wants to dissolve the organization as she believes that the financial misconduct was not a recent phenomenon. The NRA was founded in 1871 as a recreational group designed to promote and encourage rifle shooting. Since then, it's become one of the most powerful political organizations in the United States. Andy, when, people in Shanghai look at what's happening in America and the debate around guns, what do they make of it?
Well, I think that the gun is not an issue in most countries like China. I think it's illegal, and people don't believe in owning guns. I think that in the United States it's a very different situation. There are a lot of Asian Americans lately have been buying guns because they feel they're threatened. In the COVID-19 this crisis, they've been a lot of them being shouted at, and they feel threatened, so they buy guns. So in America, people believe in self-defense. So I think it's a very different country, and the gun ownership issue is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Andy. We're going to move on to another subject. There's a lot of anger in Lebanon in the aftermath of Tuesday's huge explosion at the port of Beirut. Negligence, mismanagement, corruption are just some of the words being used to describe the government's handling of the situation. In Beirut, President Emmanuel Macron of France visited the city on Thursday, travelling through some of the worst hit parts of it. The governor of Beirut estimates that collective losses caused by explosions could amount to $15 billion, which, if correct, would nearly be a third of the Lebanese national economy. In the short term, food imports are a pressing problem, given the devastation at the port. And we are getting reports from local media in Lebanon that the general manager of the port is amongst those who have been taken into custody. Andy, those scenes today when President Macron was there were extraordinary as he was mobbed by people, the Lebanese people saying, don't give money to our government because we don't trust them.
Yeah, I think that Lebanon has had a governance crisis for a long time. And the government doesn't work properly, and the people are divided along sectarian lines. I think that this has been divided the society for a long time, and the economy is run by a bunch of kind of mafia-like organizations. I think that this country is in lots of troubles, and it needs a big political change to make it work.
It needs a big political change, Andy, but it needs international help. Can you see China coming in and trying to help Lebanon at the moment? Is it an area that they would be looking to get involved with?
I really doubt it. I think that when it comes to religious conflicts, I think Beijing is very, very careful. And if you wade in,
But in a humanitarian sense, could it get involved there, do you think?
That is possible. That is possible. I think that China has a lot of capacity in terms of building infrastructure, shipping things very quickly. So they might do it. But I think that they prefer not to get involved over there because you have Israel, you have the United States, you have a country like France who still wants to have influence. So if China gets involved, there will be bad press. China has ulterior motives. So I think Beijing will be very cautious.
But Andy, do you think we are moving towards a world now where we are becoming slightly more insular because of the coronavirus? People are looking much closer to home at problems rather than looking in a more global sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that people are realizing nation states still matter. It's ultimately citizenship means something. If it's very hard to travel around. and a lot of countries only take their citizens back. So it's globalization at appears is skin deep. The older stuff is still very important.
Welcome back to Business Matters. The coronavirus outbreak continues to accelerate across continental Africa, where last week has seen an 18% increase in the number of new infections compared to the week before. You may have heard our recent in-depth report on South Africa, the hardest hit country on the continent. Andy, tell us, what's the situation like in Shanghai at the moment when it comes to the coronavirus? How's it affecting life there, the economy there?
Well, I think that now, in theory, the economy has normalized. You can go around, but in practice, people still very concerned. So the service sector is still operating at a very low capacity. You go to restaurants or go to pubs. The patronage is not like before. So it's
how much less than before, Andy?
It will be 50% less, to put it lightly. And you get on bus, you can see that not a lot of people. So people are still very, very cautious. I think that as long as the virus is rampaging across the world, the people here will feel insecure. Now, the people are very self-aware. So I think that it's not possible for one country to normalize. Sometimes people say this country is doing better, that country is doing better. In practice, it doesn't work that way. People feel still fearful. When they are fearful, they become defensive. And modern economies depend on the service sector. So we're not going to get back to normal.
Andy, give us a Chinese perspective at the moment of where they view that sort of trade deal with the United States. They must be angry at the US stance on Huawei and not just the implication that's had in the United States, but globally as well.
Yeah, I think that doesn't look good because since the trade phase one deal was signed, the U.S. government has put more Chinese companies on the embargo list. And then there's this latest war on internet companies. The U.S. government has given TikTok 45 days to sell itself or be shut down. So I think that in this kind of environment, Beijing doesn't want to look weak and caving in, buying a lot of stuff while getting beaten left and right like that. So I think that doesn't look good.
But if nobody wants to look good, Andy, how are we going to get a compromise here?
Well, I think it's very difficult. I think that the China-U.S. decoupling is inevitable. It's just that when you have such a huge difference in geopolitical perspectives, so I think that it's just I think what Beijing is doing is stalling, buying time. Because Beijing still needs technology stuff from the United States, and they're investing heavily to catch up. Once they are confident, then they'll let it go. I think that's what's going to happen. So the world is dividing into two camps. One is China trading bloc, and the other is the U.S. trading bloc. That doesn't look good. We will be living this kind of world for a long time.
There we go. We're going to end a bit now with Solver from Lord Silver. Thank you to Lorianne. Thank you to